In this tutorial, we're going to create some backdrops or wallpapers using the filters in Photoshop. So I'm going to just jump into Photoshop. So we're going to create something possibly like this. So we'll go to File, New, and the dimensions I'm using, you can choose whatever you want. But I'm using 920 by 1440, about the size of this computer. And I'm in pixels. Make sure that's not in inches, otherwise you're going to end up with a huge document and probably freeze your computer. And then 72 for the resolution. So I usually start these off by just going into Filter and Render, and then just jumping into either fibers or clouds. So that'll give you just a base, and depending on what colors you have in here, that's why they're black and white. So I'm just going to stick with that black and white, and then usually I'll just jump into filter gallery and just kind of just play with this until you come up with something that you think looks cool. So sometimes you just kind of pick through them, and some of the options do quite a bit and some of them don't do a whole lot. So this one's like a little blur effect. If I want to add a little bit of color to this, since I don't have color already, Command B will let me add some color to it. Or if you press Command U is another one that you can actually swap out the colors on the color wheel. So that's kind of fun and stuff. So, but just kind of play with that, and then when you get one done, just do a Save As. Try and apply at least 5 different filter effects to it. And then I'll just save this as wallpaper 1, 2, and create 5 of these. So from here I can just start all over, or I can kind of keep going. So I'm just going to start all over. So File, New, use those same dimensions again. This time I might just change out the colors a little bit and go to, instead of doing render of clouds, I'm going to jump into this fibers. And then just click OK. So that'll get me going again. And then maybe I'll just jump into the filter gallery and kind of see what I can find. You can just open up and just start picking around and choosing one that you like. You can play some of the settings. Another fun one to play with, the ones I would stay away from is don't do this flame or this picture frame or a tree. Those are kind of some random ones, and I would also stay away from this 3D. Those ones do just kind of some weird stuff. But one that's kind of fun, lens flare, that one just creates kind of some fun effects that way. Another fun one is under filter, render, and lighting effects, and this kind of changes almost the whole scene quite a bit and gives you a whole new set of tools and everything. So sometimes it takes a minute to load up and everything, but this more gets you with different light sources. You can kind of play and manipulate. Looks like I can kind of play with the intensity of it. You can also come up here and just choose some different types and move those around. So kind of some cool stuff you can do on that. So that one's really an interesting one to kind of play with this one and get some nice little effects with multiple lights or just one light, and then you just click OK, and then it just gets you back into the regular Photoshop and everything. So the other thing you can do, if you don't have to play with this, but if you want to play with layers, you can create a new layer. And I'm going to come up to this gradients tab, and you can choose and look around and see what it gives you. And maybe I'll grab that one or just something that looks kind of cool. And then once you have a separate layer, you can also do some blending effects. So in here I'm just kind of playing with the different blending styles to get maybe some other cool reaction on there. So, and sometimes you get something cool, and sometimes it just ends up looking like garbage or something. Okay, so, and I'll just go ahead and save that as well, and just save them all as JPEGs. We don't need to save them as anything fancy. Just make sure you choose JPEG down here and don't just type in JPEG, and just kind of collect all those until you get 5 of those.